He will be talking about what's going on in the Red Sea. We have that from local sources and from sources in Washington. And that's because what Washington wants to do is to set up an international, in fact, a multinational maritime force to patrol the Red Sea, in which there will also be Arab nations participating. And it does that because of, I think it's an aspect of the story that perhaps we haven't discussed as much as the conflict itself, although it's been a very real part of it. And that's been the attacks from Yemen on shipping in the Red Sea. That includes drone attacks and actual projectiles fired at ships as they travel in the Red Sea. And they're usually, not solely, but mostly commercial ships. And what we've seen as a result of that is that a shipping giant, Maersk, said that it's going to halt all the shipping that's going to go back up through the Red Sea and to the Suez Canal. And two other shipping giants have also said it's a temporary halt, but it's dangerous for international shipping, international trade. It's definitely going to have an impact on on Egypt, because the Suez Canal is such a huge part of the Egyptian economy. Something like 12 to 15% of the world's ships go through the Suez Canal. So it won't just affect Israel. It will be an international effect, although it will affect the Israeli economy, certainly. And I think that's why there will be the pressure for those two things: a winding down of the war, an end game. You know, what's going to happen in the day after Gaza? Let's have that plan, please. That'll be part of what the US Secretary of Defense will be saying. And the other one will be this focus on international shipping.
Now, Irris, let's talk, though, about what's happening inside Gaza this Monday, particularly in terms of food, because we understand some aid is getting in, but clearly nowhere near enough.
No, not enough. It was originally only going through Rafah, through the Egyptian side. Then US pressure again made Israel open the Kerem Shalom border crossing, first for inspection and then actually for delivery of aid. But we've seen in the past, over this past weekend, we've seen footage shot from by the AP showing people, just ordinary Gazans, descending on those trucks as soon as they've come in from Rafah. The pictures we're seeing now are trucks that came in via Rafah, not via Kerem Shalom, not via the Israeli side. And they're just taking the aid for themselves because they're so desperate, as well as seeing ordinary civilians storming these aid trucks. We've also seen armed, masked men on top of those aid trucks. And the fear is that that means the aid is going to go to them, that is, to the militant groups, who aren't necessarily going to give it out to the people of Gaza, but are going to take it underneath, to the tunnels for themselves. So all of those issues have to be resolved. And I think that's part of the reason that the aid agencies say, if we had a ceasefire and if all this could stop, and we wouldn't have to negotiate with the bombs as well as everything else, with the airstrikes and the rocket attacks from Hamas out of Gaza, if we didn't have all of that to deal with, we could better deal with the provision of aid. And that's, of course, water, food, medicine, shelter, all those things that are so desperately needed in the south of the Gaza Strip currently.